there are different levels that make a human being. So there is the physical dimension. There is, our what we look like, our diet, our food, how well we exercise, which are something that you have the power to control. And particularly if you're looking for a relationship, this is an important thing to get a handle on. If you are overweight, you might want to consider really looking at that. I remember I met my sweetheart when I had lost about 2 stones. And as I came down into the weight, that was, I hadn't had that weight since I was a teenager. And I was working a weight loss program at the time. And my instructor said to me, she said, you're moving into new territory. And I said, oh, yes. And within a few weeks, I met my sweetheart, because it was, that was one of the contributing factors to me being ready for a relationship, because that is what we are looking at here. We're looking at you actually getting ready for true love. So the physical level, then we have the mental level. The mental level is the attitude, the beliefs, the values that you have that lead you into the kinds of relationships that you find yourselves in. So, for example, and this is not necessarily reflective of any one sex, male or female, but something I hear a lot from women is, oh, he only wanted, sex. So that would be that was a limiting belief, so I had one client who, she told me she was going to meetups. She was attending live face-to-face meetups. And she said to me, oh no, I never meet anybody attractive at meetups. There's no attractive men go to meetups, she said. So that raised a lot of alarm bells. So we started to do processes to change that mental mindset, psychology, that there are plenty of men who are attractive at meetups. And within a few weeks, I'm not kidding you, she met somebody at a meetup, and they're, as far as I know, they're still in a relationship today. So, that's a very powerful area. And then we have the emotional body, okay? So the emotional body is our feelings and our previous patterns that we have developed. Post-traumatic stress can sometimes be in this bracket where we had a bad experience in our childhood. And notice I'm saying we here because, my journey is what I share with you. Yes, I have a background in psychology and training and all the rest of it. But, the reason that I'm called to this work is because of my own experience and because I want to make your journey quicker and easier. So clearing the past emotional blocks is a really big part of being ready to meet somebody new. So, you can keep on changing your partner, having a new boyfriend, having a new girlfriend. But, if you don't change what's inside, guess what? The same thing is going to happen again. You started a new relationship, and then guess what? A few months down the line, or even a few weeks, or a couple of years, or even, whatever, the same kind of thing, you find yourself repeating the same kind of pattern. Have you had these repeated patterns? They may come in a slightly different form, but, they're there. Have you had repeated negative patterns in relationships where, you change the partner, you change the country, you change your job, you change your everything, but then guess what? You get the same pattern coming through again. And that's one of the main things that I help people with, changing that. So clearing those old negative patterns. And these things go for men and women. And the way that I help people is really for both men and women. I've had both men and women learn from me over many years. So then what people very often leave out is we've got the energetic level. So it's like a field around us, the energetic. This is the kind of thing that energy healers concentrate on. Shamanic healers often work at this level where, we've got all of these different energy currents going around the body. So if you've ever done acupuncture, for example, or shiatsu massage, or any of you who use the energy disciplines like shenshi or qigong or karate, all of these are energetic practices that use energy. And we are energy. We are actually, we're not hard surfaces. The material and the energetic are interchangeable. Matter and energy are interchangeable. And very often that is overlooked by people who are helping people with things like relationships. And the last one, the spiritual level. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So what I mean by that is your connection to the all that is. Now, this could be, a word that you could use to describe that is God. And many of you may have a spiritual practice, a religious practice that is great. And that doesn't in any way conflict with the things that I teach. And some of you may call it a higher power. Some of you might call it universal intelligence, so on and so forth. It's our relationship with the all that is. And for me, that is really an essential part of finding the right relationship, that you're going to be compatible on that, but also that connection is in alignment, it is clear, it is pure. That is really, really important. So when all of these things are in alignment and they're all working for you, then you will find that you have a relationship. It comes to you. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. You do not need to be perfect in order to have a relationship, but you do need to have awareness of all of these different levels, because they are going to come up for sure, 100% in your main relationship once you have it. So what we are looking for is attracting somebody who is on your level and who also has that awareness or that commitment, because sometimes people are able to understand it, even if they don't put the words to it. So, for example, I knew a guy who was a gardener, and this is in the UK here, deep in the countryside here, and he was like a farmer, and he was just such a spiritual man. He didn't actually put words to that many of us would use. He just had this relationship with the cosmos that was his understanding, and he'd evolved it himself, and he was a very, very spiritual man. So what you're looking for is the person who is going to be compatible enough with you that you can grow together. That's the key, that you're going to be able to grow together. Now, that's a very tough thing to be able to, work out. What do? On a first date, you give them a questionnaire and say, right, how many times a day do you pray? Do you exercise? What's your health state? You can't do that. And even if you could do that, the chances of somebody actually being completely able to be really honest are very minimal, because we, unfortunately, as human beings, are not always honest with each other and with ourselves. So that is very much a part of the process. It's getting honest with yourself